Have any of you guys seen that? Band of Brothers? Are you familiar with it? A few of you. That's at the end of World War II, okay? So the war is basically ending and the Germans there have surrendered. And so we kind of show that clip to end our military theme because some of what that German leader says, like all of us on the ROC team feel in our hearts for you guys, you know, that you're such a special group, that we've suffered together through hard bunks and cold showers and, you know, difficult nights, right? And all of these things. The difference for us here today, though, is that while that was the end of the fighting for the Germans in that clip, this really is the beginning of the fighting for us. This is the beginning of the fighting for us as we prepare to go back into the world. So let's talk a little bit about what we have covered this week. Friday night, who did we talk about? Jesus. Always a really safe answer. Guess Jesus first. Friday night, we talked about Jesus, right? And the message of salvation, and that he has come so that we might have life through him and through the Father. So Saturday morning, then, we talked about? Let's just review. Friday night, we talked about Jesus. Saturday morning, we talked about God the Father, right? We talked about the Father. Saturday night, we talked about who? Oh, Paul. Paul wins from all, no, just kidding, right? We got the Holy Spirit, okay? So, Jesus, Father, Holy Spirit. This morning, I want to bring it all together for you and talk a little bit about the Trinity, okay? About the Trinity. Paul mentioned the Trinity last night. Now, it's a little bit tough for a Sunday morning, but I know that you guys have it in you. And it's important that we spend some time talking about the Trinity. You see, the church tells us the mystery of the most holy Trinity is the central mystery of the Christian faith and life. It is a mystery of God himself. The central mystery of the Christian faith, the central mystery of our life, is this mystery of the Trinity, this mystery of who God is, God in himself. Everything that we know and we believe comes first from what we know and believe about the Trinity, okay, about the Trinity. So what does it mean when we talk about the Trinity? How many gods do we believe in? Good. One God. How many persons? 3 persons, exactly, right? One God, 3 persons. How many gods? How many persons? Seems sort of like bad math, doesn't it? A little bit of bad math, right? How can 1 be 3? How can 3 be 1? I know it's a little early to think about math, but I want you to watch this.
About the percentage. I figure 75% to you, Panma, and 25% divided between the 5 of us. Yida, Crowbar, myself, Tom, and the baby. That makes 5% for each one of us.
Billy, you're cheating yourself. If there's 25% divided among the 5 of you, that's 14% apiece.
Oh, no, listen, Pa. I wouldn't cheat you. You know I wouldn't. Now, look here. I'll show you. Let me rub this out here. And now, 25 divided by 5 is 5. You see, 5 won't go into 2, will it? No. But 5 goes into 25 5 times, you see?
No, you're wrong, Billy. Now, I'm a pretty good mathematician. Now, 5 into 25, 5 won't go into 2, will it?
No.
But 5 goes into 5 once. Now, we didn't use the 2 before, so we bring it down here. Now, 5 into 20 goes 4 times. There you are. 5 into 25, 14.
No, look, Pa. Let me prove it to you now by multiplication. 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25.
Really, I'm surprised you're learning.
Huh?
I'm surprised that you're learning. Now I'll show you. 5 times 14 is 25. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 1 is 5. 25. That's it.
No, look, Ma. See, look, you're wrong there because I'll prove it to you. We'll put down 5 14s here. 14. There. Now I'll prove to you by addition that 5 14s is not 25. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There you are. Better brush up, Billy. I don't want to see you boys cheated.
All right. There's some bad math, right? The bad math. The Trinity is not bad math like that, okay? We're not bad mathematicians. It's just that it's this mystery that's hard to understand. The Catechism of the Church tells us God has revealed his innermost secret, that God himself is an eternal exchange of love. Kurt talked about this yesterday, that God is love. Exactly. God is love. Now, if you are going to love, if you're going to be love, what do you need? You need love, and you need... Okay, someone to love. You need someone to love. Yes, thank you, right? If it's just you and all you do is love yourself, are you an exchange of love? No, right? You're just kind of self-centered, self-absorbed, maybe like Justin Bieber a little bit, right? Just kidding. No, I'm sure he's a nice guy, all right? Okay, stay with me. To be an exchange of love, you have to, right? You have to have someone to love. So here we go, the Trinity. The Father loving the Son, right? The Son receives the love and loves the Father in return. The love so real between the Father and the Son that it is the Holy Spirit. It is the Holy Spirit, an eternal exchange of love, right? So while we believe in there's just one God, there has to be three persons to be an exchange of love, And again, Paul gave us some great examples last night, like St. Patrick and the shamrock or the fold in the paper to talk about the Trinity. I want to talk about this a little bit more, okay? Three things. Here we go. The Trinity is one. The Trinity is one. What this means is that the divine persons don't share the Trinity. Talk about some math, right? It's not like there's 100% of God and we're going to divide it up among three. So Jesus would be 33%, the Holy Spirit would be 33%, and that would leave how much for the Father? 34%, because he's the Father and he gets an extra percent, right? No! The Father, 100% God. The Holy Spirit, 100% God. Jesus, 100% God. The divinity is not divided up between them. How many gods? One God exactly, all right? But three persons, and we believe that those three persons really are different. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I am a wife, I am a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend. But I'm just me. There's just one person, right? Those are just different roles that I have. That is not the same with God. When we talk about the three persons of the Trinity, it's not like, hey, look at me over here, guys. Now I'm God the Father. Ooh, coming down to earth, gonna, die on the cross. Now I'm Jesus. Oh, Pentecost, here we go. Got my dove wings on. Now I'm the Holy Spirit. Nice to see you, right? No, the three persons are different. The Father is not the Son is not the Father, the Holy Spirit is different from the three. How many gods? How many persons? They're different from each other in their relationship. They're different in relationship. What makes a father a father? He has a son, right? He has a son. They're different in regards to their relationship. Whew, right? Difficult. Anybody's mind just like, this is way too much for Sunday morning. I wish you would stop talking. Oh, okay. Thank you for being honest. Here we go. It's important for us to know this, though, because it's more than just a mind game. I like to think about God a little bit like chocolate. Is there anybody who likes chocolate and wouldn't mind coming down? I saw your hand first. Have you done anything else yet? Okay, come on down. Wow, fan club. Introduce yourself. Introduce yourself. Name and school.
I'm Kirsten, and I go to East.
And you like chocolate. Great. Okay. Simple task. I need you to get all of these M&Ms into this cup. No. Oh, don't eat them. All the M&Ms from the bag into the cup. All the bags from the M&M, out of the bag and into the cup. What's the problem here? There's a lot of M&Ms here. What's the issue we're having?
There's a lot of M&Ms.
Okay, and is there another part of the problem?
There's not enough cups.
Oh, right, one cup, right? One cup isn't enough. Let me ask you this, though. If I let you keep the M&Ms in the cup, even though it's not all of the ones in the bag, would it still be a good deal for you?
Yeah.
Seems like a fair trade. That'll be okay? Okay, then that's the deal. You can keep the M&Ms in the cup, but don't share them with anyone until this talk is over. Deal?
Deal.
Deal. All right, give a hand for her. So why do I do that? Because in a very, well, not exactly the same way, but let's kind of relate this. It is hard to understand God, right? It's hard to understand God. God is a mystery. a mystery, and it makes our minds stretch a little bit. So if you're sitting here and you're just like, I'm not quite sure that I get it, good. I don't get it either. I don't exactly understand it, right? Because if we totally understood God, I don't know what sort of a God that would be. I'm not that smart. If God was so simple or so easy for me to understand, what kind of God would that be? But when we try to understand, when we try to grow in the mystery, it's like almost giving her a bigger cup, right? That our cup expands, that we begin to know God more, to understand God more, to love God more. It's worth it to try to understand what we can now, though. Just as she was happy with the M&Ms that she did get, even though it wasn't all of them. It's worth it, okay? Stay with me here, all right? So the Trinity is not just a mind game. It's not just something for theologians and seminarians to sit around and to discuss. There's more to it that pertains to us. Okay, I know you're super tired, but I really need you to stay with me. All this activity right here in the center, gentlemen, I need you to just stay with me, all right? A little bit more. Perfect. So it says, God has revealed his innermost secret, that God himself is an eternal exchange of love, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and he has destined us to share in that exchange. The mystery of the Trinity is not just a mystery of who God is in himself, it's a mystery of who we are called to be, who we are created to be, that we were created to be in this eternal exchange of love with God. And at our baptism, those of you that have been baptized, those of you here who are preparing to be baptized, at your baptism, you receive the indwelling of the Trinity in your very self, in your very soul, that we were created to be in this exchange of love with God in this life and in the next. And in the next. What is there after this life? Hopefully, right? Hopefully heaven. We will all die. We will all die. And when we die, there are two options. Heaven, maybe with a little stop in purgatory, or hell. And hell is real. And people can go there. But we don't think about these things a lot of times, right? And people say, oh, why would a good God send anyone to hell? God does not send people to hell. God lets us choose hell for ourselves. If someone is going to spend their entire life turning their back on God, pushing him away, wanting to have nothing to do with him, then God, in his great love for us, will respect our free will and will not force us to be with him in heaven. That is how much he loves us, that he will let us choose if we want to be with him in heaven or not. Or not. And so these are the things that we need to think about. This is what the battle is about. This is what life is about, really, in the end. But we get so busy with our daily life, we forget about these things. We're distracted by so many things. We have so many things that consume our time and our energy, right? You guys are super busy, and I know that. You devote a ton of energy into so many other things. And our world really prides working hard for things, right? Working hard for things. Just check out this example from a commercial I found.
What is strong? Is it muscle or something more? Is it measured in miles or milliseconds? Is it your best time or your worst day? Maybe strong is just what you have left when you've used up all your weak.
Find Your Strong by Saucony tennis shoes, right? So our world loves and takes pride in working hard, right? We take pride in working hard, for putting in a lot of energy, for doing it even when it's tough, doing it even when it hurts. You guys are involved in so many different things, and in those activities, whether it's band or your studies or theater or dance or school or debate or, just all of these different things, you have to sacrifice and you have to work hard. I know that you do. What about this, though? What about putting some of that same effort into our relationship with God? What about putting some of that same effort into that which is going to last for eternity? Because even when things are tough with your other activities, you usually keep going, right? You push through it. You get stronger. You go even when it's tough. But I hear from young people all of the time with God that they just quit. You know what? Prayer's hard. You know what? Sometimes I'm tired. You know what? Sometimes Mass doesn't seem that interesting. You know, sometimes I don't feel God. You know, sometimes I don't either. But you push through it anyway. You push through it and you put energy into that relationship. Because hopefully you're coming to believe that there is nothing better than that, and that is what's going to have consequences for eternity. That's what's going to have consequences for eternity. All soldiers have to sacrifice, right? All soldiers have to make lots of sacrifices, and you guys sacrifice in other areas of your life. So as we think about going back to the world from this weekend, what do we need to change? Where do we need to sacrifice? You know, do we need to sacrifice a little bit of sleep so that we can spend some time with God in prayer every day? Do we need to maybe sacrifice a relationship that we know is not good for us? Certain people that we're around, that we know when we're around them, that we just don't make good choices? Do we need to change what we're doing with our time? Do we need to change what we're doing on the weekends? Do we need to change what we watch, what we listen to, how we talk about other people, the way we treat our parents? What are these things that need to change as we go back to the battle? What are things we need to put more effort into so that we can focus on what's going to last for eternity? There was a young man, and he grew up at St. Anne's. And his parents, you know, they went to Mass every Sunday and, you know, did all the things that they were supposed to and went through confirmation. He'd go on retreats with the youth group and stuff. But as early as his freshman year, he just started getting involved with other things. He was smoking a lot of pot. He was partying a lot, even as a freshman. And so he would kind of do the like, okay, I'll come to church, you know, when I'm forced to. But then on the weekends and, you know, with his school friends and that stuff, he was doing all these other things. Well, he kind of went through this, living this double life for all of high school. And then finally, when he was a senior, he came home one night from a party, and he was strung out on cocaine. And he was looking at himself in the mirror, and he did not even recognize himself anymore. He didn't even recognize his own face. He didn't even know who he had become. And in a moment of grace, maybe because his parents had forced him to go to Mass, or because he had been confirmed even when he didn't know what it was about, maybe because he had gone on those retreats, in a moment of grace, in a moment of emptiness and desperation, he just said, God, if you are real, I need you. His prayer was, wreck my life. He said, I have made a total mess of this, and I do not know how to get out. God, if you are real, wreck my life. In that prayer, in his bathroom of desperation in his senior year, God came in that moment and started to give him the strength to change. He started to quit the drugs and the partying, and when he started to quit that stuff, his friends quit him. They didn't want to hang out with him anymore if he wasn't doing what they were doing. So senior year of high school, he spent a lot of time in the chapel at church with the Lord. He spent a lot of time with his parents. He spent a lot of time just trying to figure out who it was that he was going to be. God eventually gave him new friends, set him on a new path. He continued to grow in his relationship with the Lord. And 3 years ago, I married him. Thanks. If he had not responded to that moment of grace and changed, we would have never been married because he was down a different path. If he had not responded to God in that moment and changed, our boys, Elijah and Jeremiah, would never have been born. They never would have existed, except that he responded to God, calling him to something better. I need you to understand that the choices that you make now have eternal consequences. Consequences for your future, consequences about who you're going to be, consequences of where you're going to go, consequences about generations that may or may not be born after you. Because of who you decide to be today, how you want to live today, if you're going to respond to God's call or not. Many of you are just getting ready to go into high school, and please do not think that you will be as lucky as my husband and do whatever you want through high school, and maybe in your senior year in college you will change. Most of his friends from high school are dead or in jail. God is calling you now, today, to decide who you want to be and how you want to live. And he needs you to respond because the world needs you. The world absolutely needs you. The world needs people who love the Lord and are not afraid, like that sister who was on The Voice, to say, God is real, and I know him, and I love him, and I want you to know him as well. I know that there are members of your family. I know that you have friends. I know that there are people who are going down the wrong path who do not know the love of the Lord. And how are they going to know it if you are not living your life in a way that's going to show them? In a way that's going to show them we are in a battle. We are in a battle in this world, and it is fierce. And there is no time for middle ground anymore. There's no time for middle ground anymore because people are suffering and dying, and they need the Lord, and they need us to show him to them. You guys are amazing, and you have so much of your future ahead of you. And as you are confirmed, you will be given everything that you need, everything that you need. So we beg of you to choose Christ, to decide to answer his call today about who you are going to be. Show the world that God is real and that he loves people, right? That he loves us, and fight the good fight of faith. I want to